Hey everybody, we're here for the new episode of the RLG cast, episode 11. I'm here with JD, the donut man himself, and I'm here with Putty, the taco man himself. And we're just going to jump into this. General pop culture talk is what this is all about. Superman news, there's a lot of it that just came out. So I feel like off the top, we should just address that.
Okay.
So, there's a listing in the current I want to say credits for the movie for Superman Legacy, and there's a listing for Apex. So that's supposedly going to be the villain, Apex Lex. JD, do you know more about this kind of stuff than I do? So tell us about that.
So Lex Luthor stood in the path of some alien deity in the year 2038, and they kind of battled with Lex's mech suit, and they kind of merged, kind of thing. And it's basically he's more of an offshoot from the Rise of Darkness, and the Injustice series. So it's more based in the Injustice. So maybe they may be making. Are they going to try to make maybe a Superman a villain? Kind of like what they did with Injustice.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think going Injustice storyline is the right way to go. I'm also, I mean,
It's kind of like he's like a Super Saiyan, I guess is a good way to put it.
The visually it has a very like Green Goblin look, though. If you notice, it really does.
Yeah,
with the green and the and just the dead skin, it really has like a really Green Goblin.
I'm
look.
really like I don't know if I'm against Apex Lex as the villain, but I generally don't like Injustice, the storyline. I think it's awful. I know a lot of people
Apex
really like
Lex
it.
can travel through dimensions, so this could be their way of writing themselves out of the DCEU of Zack Snyder's universe.
Yeah.
And bring some characters with them and leaving others behind.
And they should be mildly establishing their multiverse with the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be easy to do that if you do it, but I don't think you should go full sorry, what's it called?
Multiverse or full Injustice?
Injustice storyline, because I know a lot of people really like it, but I really hate that storyline. It's one of the worst things DC's ever written.
But
for me at least.
But I mean, did they do a separate Injustice? Like, was there just two different types of Injustice storylines? Because
it was the one major storyline.
The one with crossing between Mortal Kombat and all right.
Nope, that's different. That's DC versus Mortal Kombat. That was
the one where Batman kills Lois Lane.
Superman kills
Lois Lane.
Right,
no.
but see,
Joker technically
kills Lois Lane,
and Superman holds himself responsible, and he basically descends into this dark spiral of.
So how is it different? Because the thing is, that's still the story of the game itself. So
that's where the story comes from. The game existed, and then the comic came after.
Yeah.
But
so what happened was Lex in Injustice was mech suit Lex.
Yeah.
And the mech suit Lex kind of met this alien, and they kind of like when Goku and Vegeta they do their fusion, same type of idea, and they become one deity.
But how did they take out the Mortal Kombat aspect of it? Since
in the Injustice game, there is no Mortal Kombat in it.
Injustice has nothing to do with the Mortal. It's just done by
he's thinking of the other game still. That's why
I'm missing it. I'm messing it up. Yeah,
he's missing them together. But okay, so is anyone opposed to that idea of having that as the villain?
I'm not opposed to it as long as, like you said, they don't do the Injustice storyline.
I think
the character is good.
Go, Putty.
Well, here's my thing. I think they should. I think it's an intriguing character, even just first finding out about it. But I think rushing it is going to be the problem. I think that hearing that it's coming in the first Superman movie that's going to be under Gunn's helm means it feels like it's going to be rushed in there. And I feel like we need to go back and kind of bring back a little bit of the regular Lex, then let him go to that. So that way we can actually get that chemistry, that villain to hero chemistry.
What if that's what the plot of the movie is? Lex fusing with this deity, and then he becomes Apex Lex, and that's the whole purpose of the film, is Superman trying to defeat him. To cement his legacy.
Okay, I'll tell you what I want. And I'll continue with what you're saying. I think you do that as sort of a secondary situation where, let's say, so what I want the story to be is I want them to go Earth 1. I'm going to keep repeating this till the movie comes out. I want them to go Earth 1, but I don't want the origin story. I just want young Clark Kent has just moved to Metropolis. He is Superman, but he's not like fully familiar with what he can do. He's not fully trained yet. Parasite comes and starts leeching his power and becomes super powerful, and it's like a huge villain for him. Lex Luthor sees all of this happening. I don't know what happens. The deity comes through towards the end of the movie, and then like your final end credit scene is him fusing, and then we know in the next movie we're going to get that, because I think that's far too much of a villain. It's too out there. It's too new. Nobody knows who it is yet.
He's very new.
I think you have to slowly ease your way into that. It's a little bit too much for me, I think, and I'm someone who would like that. Even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be like doing Iron Man and then just going all out and having a random villain that no one has ever heard of from a video game.
Well, that's
kind of like what they did with Iron Man 2 and they did Whiplash.
But Whiplash is a good choice.
Yeah.
Again, the whole Lex idea, I just think I think Lex needs to be a villain in the first movie, but not super villain wise. Maybe let it happen again, maybe. But even at the happy end, it just still feels too rushed.
But I think you build it right. Take what Putty's saying, and do it in a way that's like, okay, so he's fighting Parasite or Brainiac, like whoever you want, okay. But I think Parasite's a good starting villain.
Brainiac's something you bring in later.
Yeah, and you can
Brainiac seems like he'd be a bigger villain too, in my eyes, honestly.
You can have him. Superman destroys something of Lex Luthor's and kills his girlfriend or something. So that there you go. Like, you know how Bruce Wayne didn't like Superman in the BVS? That's your setup, okay? Superman kills Parasite at the end of the movie, but there's like remains of him. So you see Lex collecting it, and then he uses that Parasite's ability to absorb other people's power. So when the deity comes through, Lex touches him and absorbs all of his powers, and that's your like storyline for it.
And that could be the start of the suit too. That you don't have to actually have the suit itself, but you can actually show him like, I need to have some armor just to protect.
But you know what else you could do? You could have him so he has the powers of the deity, and in the next movie they fight. Superman beats him, okay? But now Lex is used to having this power, and now that he's turned back to human, he builds the suit because he doesn't want to be without that power. And then the third movie, he's not the main villain, but he's there. And then you have it be like in the future in a Justice League movie, Lex Luthor is forced to turn good to help them to save the world, and that's how we get the turn to like the modern day Lex Luthor, where he's a good guy.
Yeah.
I mean, here's my thing. The whole problem, and again, this has always been something I've had a little bit of problem with Superman, is he's such an overpowered character that using kryptonite, things of nature, you have to have those. The reason Lex was so good about that was because I had nothing against Superman, but Lex could just outsmart Kent when it came to that situation and get him in those situations where the kryptonite would keep him, at fault. That's what makes Lex so great, is that he was just so intelligent. Just like John said, I like the idea of it leading into something. Even if they were to do it a trilogy and keep bringing him in there and then bring the third movie, that would be the big villain for Superman. Is, oh God, this one guy that I work with, but he's only human, is now has the brains and the brawn to actually take me on. You know what I mean? Because he, like a Brainiac or something like that, is a really bigger character in my eyes.
Brainiac, I think you'd save that for a Justice League movie. Introduce him maybe in Supergirl as she's traveling through space and he follows her back to Earth.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. And then this way they all get together. This way you can bring them all together.
See, I want to ask you guys, so I'll throw this in there since we're talking DC and pretty much in this whole situation. Since we kind of already got Darkseid with the new Zack Snyder Justice League, I don't know how, I mean, but pretty much I feel like that's gonna have to be put aside, come back to that later. You know what I mean? Who do you think should be the major villain in the new DCU? Are they gonna lead into that?
Brainiac. They're gonna start. I honestly think Brainiac would be the best way to start, because Darkseid is too fresh, too still in the people's mind, and they're still gonna compare that to Zack Snyder.
I also don't think you ever need to do the Doomsday storyline. It doesn't need to happen, because yes, it's an impactful moment, but there's other villains that he has that could kill him. and you don't need to do it through that.
I feel, well, either way, my thing is, if they're going to do Death of Superman at all, at some point they need to let it drag on. Let that be way later. Because here's the problem: Iron Man. We got to love Iron Man, but what made Iron Man so special in this situation is because he was a fresh new. No one's ever played Iron Man. You know what I mean? Ever. So this felt special. We've had Christopher Reeves. We had so many different Supermans. I feel like even killing him now doesn't. There's no impact.
But I think
anymore.
if you're gonna do it, that's a 2-part movie.
Yeah,
and in the sense that that's a perfect. The second part of it is perfect for James Gunn when you have all the other superheroes, Steel and Superboy and Cyborg, Superman, and I never remember the other guy's name. But yeah, you have them.
Was it Vindicator? No.
Is it? Yeah, I think it's Vindicator. I was gonna say Cyrax, but that's Mortal Kombat.
No, that's Mortal Kombat.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Vindicator.
I'm thinking Violator from Spawn, but it's
yeah. I'm thinking Vindicators from Rick and Morty, but I think that's the kind of movie that's perfect for him. A bunch of weird type characters that are not super popular, but they exist. People know about them. That's James Gunn's excelling point. And
he's good.
You can't do half the death story and follow it up without that second story.
Eradicator.
There you go.
I realized one thing Gunn is. I've talked about this before about how he's able to take intricate characters, but the one thing he's good at is picking the right casting for each character. So when you first see them, you just like they say something that makes you go, "Oh, I like this character." I don't need to have that much backstory. I would like to, but you've introduced me in a way that I really enjoy this character, and that's what James Gunn is really good at, really making you like these characters because putting a personality with the character. Yeah.
So hold on, let's talk about casting. You talked about that just right now. So David Corenswet is the right now like the number one contender, and yes. If you want to Google it, feel free. I'm not going to put a picture up. But he does look good in the Superman.
He has a look.
He does kind of look like a younger Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
And I think you do need to go young, right? I'd like to see that. They did say Jacob Elordi, Tom Brittany, and Adam Richardson were also in the mix for the role. But it seems like he's the front runner right now. And if you see the pictures that I sent you guys, the one that has the 3 guys on it, if you scroll to the other slide, there's like a deep fake of him as Superman, and it looks really good. So I mean that is what it is. Visually, I like it. I'm not really too familiar with his work enough to be like, wow, that's like Robert Pattinson level good casting, right? So we'll see how it goes as it goes. Let's talk about Lois Lane. So right now in the running, they have Emma Mackey, Rachel Brosnahan, Phoebe Dynevor, and Samara Weaving.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say this right now. Looking at these, because 90% of these females I've never heard of. Looking at them, I mean, it's true. I'm just saying. Anyway,
well, Samara Weaving, we all know who she is.
Okay,
Hugo Weaving's niece.
Don't distract him. He still doesn't know who that is.
I know who that is. Yeah. But anyway, my point to the thing is, visually, I don't really see them as Lois. I'd have to see them as far as personality wise. I don't know. It's just it's again the 2 actresses. I don't even know the 2 in the middle that you showed the picture of. I don't even know they might fit the profile of Lois in my eyes. I never put of Lois as a model type. You know what I mean? Even though she could do it, it's just she was more like the girl next door. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
that's how I always felt Lois was. You know what I mean? Even though she is a reporter, she kind of has that charm about her.
I mean,
so I don't know.
I think the thing is like it's weird to have this, but like I don't think Phoebe Dynevor is the one. I'm gonna be honest. Rachel Brosnahan we know is really good. She's very popular right now, but I'm on the fence with her too.
Mackie, I think, is the one that could.
Mackie is also the one I think too, because I think she's an up and coming actor. She's very good as so far. She has that Margot Robbie look, and everyone wants that. So does Samara Weaving, but
the thing is with Brosnahan, is she still involved with Miss Maisel, or is that done?
I don't know if it's done. I can't remember if it got renewed. But I mean, I would say it's between her and Mackie, because Samara Weaving is just so popular right now that I think it might take away from what he's trying to do. It's too much clout in a role, and I think she also is not really suited for these kind of roles. She's more of like the secondary actress or like in a horror movie. I think she really excels. I don't know if super, but you know what? I really like her, so I'm not going to say no.
No.
Um,
I mean, they're all four good picks. Like you said, Mackie, I think, is the one that's closest to what I think they could use as a Lois Lane.
yeah. And then Putty really liked this one. Nicholas Hoult is being eyed for Lex Luthor.
Which one was it? Oh yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. The reason I feel like because he's a very charismatic actor. When he was the one that played Beast in the I guess you can call it X-Men prequels, whatever you want to call it, or anything like that. And he was the one that actually made himself look like Beast. But the reason I feel like he would do really good as a part is he's a very kind-hearted person, but you can see the darkness in his eyes. You can see he can pull off that whole darkness look. So I could just see him pulling the whole like charm and charisma, like, hey, how's it going, Mr. Kent? And just pulling it off to the point where then he can actually just drop the brow and you'd be convinced, oh, this guy's got something up his sleeve. I just feel like he would play a great Lex Luthor. So whoever decided to cast this, I feel did a great pick on it.
Yeah.
See, to me, Nicholas Hoult is still about a boy.
Really?
I mean, I think it's a good choice, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, him and Samara Weaving together with, I think that might be really good, actually.
Yeah.
I think they would flow really well. Either way, I think so far there's been zero bad choices for people thrown out there. I know that James Gunn there's rumors that he was talking about having a black Lex Luthor, which I'm also okay with. I think we can all agree that Idris Elba would be a great Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
No, Moff Gideon.
I think Giancarlo Esposito's too old.
I get it,
at least visually, because I know that Idris Elba's also not old. I mean, is also older.
Depending on whether Idris ends up becoming Bond or not, too. Because right now,
Bond. There's no way.
You think because
he doesn't want it.
He doesn't want it because I know him and what's his name, Taylor Johnson. They're the two front runners.
I heard it was Taylor Johnson and crap. I
don't know how to feel
about
name. That.
I want to say Kit Harington, but I don't think it was Kit Harington.
No, the other guy, Richard Madden.
Yeah, Richard Madden. Those are the two that I've been hearing.
Those are both excellent choices.
Idris has said that he doesn't want it. He's not interested. He doesn't. It's not worth it to deal with the backlash for a character he doesn't really want to play.
And see, here's my thing. I'm going to say right now. I don't feel Idris Elba would do it anyway. Well, I know he can't return to that role, I guess. Because I was going to say he still played a character in the DC universe that is a James Gunn character they can come back with, but then it dawned on me. Oops, never mind. But I mean, I don't know. See, again, I like.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I never even really put two and two together with that.
Yeah,
but I mean, there's so many good actors. What are we talking about? Like,
well, again, I just want to bring up the reason I brought the whole thing with the what's his name is because again, just character wise, I mean, it's okay to have an age of difference because at that point, the age he is that Esposito is, he would be at the age where he would own his own company and be. Be the head of a company. What I mean?
But Lex Luger is supposed to be a
Lex Luger.
Sorry, Lex Luger. Lex Luthor is supposed. You know what's funny? That's totally a play on that.
Totally was, yeah.
Lex Luthor is supposed to be like a trust fund child that took over his dad's company, and he became evil just by being a greedy little shit.
I get it.
And so when he got power of the company, and he doesn't like all the attention Superman gets, so he wants to kill Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's different versions of Lex Luthor, especially the Kevin Spacey one. Actually, the Gene Hackman ones are old too.
Yeah,
but it's
my choice is a guy's name is Colin Salmon. He played Mr. Steele in Arrow the first season, kind of like the guy who was living in Oliver.
I know who you're talking about now.
He was. I think he played General Zod in Krypton.
I don't know. I didn't see Krypton.
Yeah, but I think he would be like he's already bald, so he looks the part of Lex Luthor already.
Yeah,
like
Bobby Lashley as Lex Luthor.
Yes, exactly. Bobby Lashley is Lex.
All because he's bald.
I'll see that. I'll watch Omos.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, Omos. And he's
Omos
imposing, right? He's 7 feet tall.
So Omos is Superman, and Bobby Lashley is Lex Luthor, and
Omos is Steel.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense because
Bobby Lashley is Steel.
a person that's that big and then also has the suit, the uniform, it's like it makes sense. Like they're already huge and now they have like powers.
Yeah.
Shaq, just bring back Shaq.
Yeah.
Steel 2, the Steelaning.
He's too busy doing printer and commercials.
He's
Yeah,
just trying
exactly.
to, the whole time he's trying to hit free throws and he can't.
That's the whole point of the movie. Okay, so I don't have anything else DC related. Does anyone have anything DC related while we're talking about that?
Not at the
moment.
moment. I know Penguin is deep in production, right?
Yes. And I think everyone's excited just to get more from that universe. That's
Colin Farrell played that role really well, and
I know
they made a lot of good choices.
I really want them to go a true like crime movie with this. Like I want them to stop thinking about the Batman movie or the Batman movie and just go, hey, the Joker movie is such a great movie. Let's go in that realm. Keep it in the same world, but let's just have that crime scene.
I think it's going to be more like like a crime story TV series. It's basically on how Penguin would rise to power, I guess, kind of thing, and take over.
Cool. Yeah.
Yes, because I think this takes place before the Batman.
I heard
it was in between.
Soprano stuff like kills.
Yeah, give me. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm not very excited for it. I'll watch it. It's just not a thing that I care for, if that makes sense. Like it's the Penguin.
Yeah, it takes place immediately after the movie.
So he's taking over for Maroni.
Yeah.
Or was it Falcone?
Falcone.
It's Falcone.
I say Falcone.
It's Falcone.
Oh, and Maroni.
Falcone.
And Maroni, yeah.
Okay, there. That guy put two names together. Okay, so let's talk about this weird Marvel news that came out. Kevin Feige revealed that Clive Owen was Marvel Studios' original choice for Tony Stark.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And he turned down the role.
I'm glad.
It wouldn't have worked with Clive Owen. He doesn't have the same charisma. He's a good actor, don't get me wrong. He doesn't have the same charisma RDJ has.
He is a good actor, but he's not an A-list actor. He in terms of quality.
Neither was RDJ at the time too.
At
RDJ,
the time,
yeah.
But we know he could act.
Yeah.
Like he always had the skill. Like, tell me a movie where Clive Owen was blew you away with holy crap.
Children of Men was pretty good.
Yeah, but was he really good in it, or was the movie just really good?
The movie was really good. I always thought Clive Owen would make a great doctor.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Even though I've never watched it, I can see it.
He would also make a good, probably Doctor Strange. It's weird because they're the same age.
Yeah.
It feels like Clive Owen is so much older.
Yeah, but it's also, like I said, the charisma that RDJ has. Like, just the way he's able to play. Yeah, see Clive Owen, I see him as a straight-laced, no nonsense type of guy, whereas RDJ sees that silliness. He can play that.
He also has a really good, the way his inflection is when he talks and his mannerisms.
Comedic timing too.
Well, here's my thing though. I don't know why I'm saying this and why it popped in my head, but what about Mr. Sinister? I know it's over there Marvel, but we are talking Marvel, but I think he could pull off a great Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, Clive Owen would be a good Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah,
that's a really good choice.
Because I'm sitting here thinking about it, just imagine him just sitting there, and it works. The eyes, everything.
He's got that furrowed brow with the.
He also has a very square head and a very boxy body, and he's not a small guy either. That's a pretty good choice.
Yeah, because that kind of what he looked like in Sin City type of aesthetic.
I've always wanted Mr. Sinister. He's one of the villains I've always wanted.
Which one did they tease him at the end of?
It was New Mutants.
Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past. They teased him at the end. Yes.
No, New Mutants. They also did it. Putty's right, but they show the briefcase or whatever, and it says
whatever that company was. Yeah.
Because remember, it was even teased in the first Deadpool movie too. You know what I mean? They've put a lot of teases without all the Fox.
Well, Ajax worked for him, didn't he?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
So there was always there, and I wanted it because you got to think Mr. Sinister is a big part of the Deadpool comic.
The Sinister Minister.
He's one of the biggest parts of all of X-Men.
Exactly, and see that's my point.
Isn't he the whole reason for the clone saga in X-Men? Yeah,
the Essex. Cloning. He owns Essex, so that's the catalyst for everything. So it's I don't know. I would love to see that. And again, you guys bringing up actors, seeing Clive Owen, literally still think to this day.
Bring back the Phalanx. That would be
And
awesome.
then you can even make it to where it's just him, but then maybe he turns into Sinister, and then you could use special effects to bring down the voice.
You know
Yeah.
what they need to do? This is like for real. They need to bring back Will.i.am.
I
He's
agree.
the greatest part of the best X-Men
I don't
movie.
know. I don't know. Blob. I'm sorry. Don't call him Blob. It's Bob. But you know, I hate that. To this day, every single part of that movie is just horrible. Anyway.
Yeah, you didn't
Blob
watch
did
it.
look good though. Like visually, Blob looked good.
I remember I watched a pirated copy of that movie, and it was like the CG wasn't even filled in.
Yeah, there was no
yet.
CGI yet. Taylor
So
Kitsch
great.
was.
It was probably better
Gambit.
than the CGI that came in there, because the CGI came in there was horrible.
You know who would have been a good Gambit? Dean Winchester.
Yeah.
Or the guy from Kung Fu, The Legend Continues.
Maybe we need to make a sequel. Maybe
he was the voice of Gambit in the cartoons.
Yeah, that's true. They should just make it David Carradine.
David Carradine.
As Gambit. Kung Fu, the Gambit saga. Yeah, okay. So speaking of that, what would you rather see in terms of building the team? Do you want to see X-Men start out as the animated series team or as the original comics team?
I think. Oh, okay.
Go ahead. No.
I know they want to do some solo stories or anything, okay? And I feel like they should do it. They should do Wolverines, all those. I think that the first X-Men movie should be kind of like, and this is how I feel. I feel like it should be like Guardians. I feel like it should have the core group: Beast, Iceman, Cyclops, Jean Grey, the original core group before
Puck.
Yeah.
Morph.
But have that original team and everything. And then, for example, if you want to keep Cyclops and a few of them in there, you could cause some casualties or something like that. There's so many ideas you can do. Or you could even, have that movie, set up Wolverine, all of them, and then start bringing them in as the second team that may be stronger. So you can actually still keep Cyclops and possibly Jean Grey. But I mean, I guess Bobby Drake we're kind of bored of, but you can always do that if you wanted to kill him off in that.
But would you rather have that original team, the base level team, or would you rather start off already with like the same team, let's say, so the same exact team basically as what you get, that's what it is, but you add like Rogue and Storm, and then you can have Wolverine and Gambit join throughout as we're moving. But
see, I'm looking more towards the Bendis run on all new X-Men.
Yeah.
See, I that's what I want.
With Angel and Jean and Iceman, Beast, and who's the other one? Colossus, yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about the giant size issues and the ones that came out later. There were the 2 folded pages, the Jim Lee issues and everything.
No, I'm talking about the Bendis run from about
the
10,
new
15,
one.
Yeah,
it's pretty
X-Men
modern.
About 10,
all new
15
X-Men.
years ago.
Okay. Well, the reason
because then they meet up with the Guardians.
Yeah, good point.
The trial of Jean Grey, like it was so good that run of the trial of Jean Grey.
Here's the thing: I want the core version, but I feel like this version, the animated series version, is gonna be the one they're gonna target because that adult group has grown on it.
Also, with the new series,
exactly. So, but here's my thing: either way that they're gonna do it, the problem I see is they don't need to force it, and I feel like if they got somebody that could do it like Guardians, and then at the same time develop the bigger characters on the outside, because like for example, I would like a Rogue story because I would like to show. I would love if they actually kill off Carol Danvers by actually having the whole Rogue thing happen. You know what I mean? Her taking the powers from Carol Danvers, dealing with that whole drama, but actually have the thief part too.
That would work because then you can replace her with one of the other Miss Marvels.
Exactly. Yeah. And see, then what makes it great is now you have a story of this character that because we already know what Rogue is, but there's a lot of people that are younger kids that don't know what Rogue's powers are. So you can show how hard it is for her, and then she finally meets up with Remy LeBeau through X-Men, and that will give it more. Because the thing is, I want Jubilee to exist, but I feel like they always missed the mark when they didn't play off the Rogue thing.
Well, they had a perfect one with Lana Condor, and then didn't do anything with her.
Yep.
She was just there to be there passively in a moment.
Exactly. So my whole situation is I would love to eventually get to the Jean Grey storyline, but I feel like if we do that, have Jean Grey, well, not Jean Grey, but the Jubilee storyline, have her just be something that's a new candidate to introduce X-Men. Like there's so many storylines you could do, but I feel like characters like Wolverine, Rogue, Gambit, Storm, these characters need to have their own solo movies that lead into them joining the X-Men.
Gambit, I don't know.
Gambit doesn't need his own.
No.
They just have Rogue.
Neither does Rogue. I think you can
Really?
do a. I don't think
what the
Rogue.
hell? Rogue's storyline is trash.
What do you mean?
I mean,
whole
unless
book-
you're
she's
doing
got
the
a lot
Rogue
of-
Magneto storyline from Age of Apocalypse.
Well, that would be good too, but no,
But
that would
then
be
you
something
but then
later.
you introduce things that you can't go back on
Yeah.
once you do
Yeah.
that.
But the thing is, Rogue, like Wolverine
Rogue's story can be told as a segment in a movie. It doesn't need to be a whole movie.
Well, see, I figured even because the reason I bring up Rogue as a good storyline is because remember you have to think about like there's all that whole thievery and all this stuff she had that going on before latching on. Because you got to remember also relationship Mystique that she has from her past. Like you have all that's part of the storyline that I feel like would make a great story. And
so do it as a TV show. Do X-Men as a TV show.
Yeah, the thing is, X-Men. That's a type of series that works better. That's a type of movie that works better as a team dynamic. Like Guardians, you're not going to get you won't get a Star-Lord solo. You won't get a Gamora solo. You if you get Rocket, you're going to get Rocket with the new Guardians or a Rocket and Groot Adventures. You're not going to get solo movies because Guardians just work as a team. X-Men, Avengers were all individual people that came together to form Avengers, whereas the X-Men were in a school already together, and that's why, except Wolverine, he was the only outlier.
But that's my whole point. I agree with you, and then that's 100%. I agree with you. I was through all that. I think what it is I think Marvel's going to want to milk it anyway. So I'm sitting here thinking like they're going to want to make solo movies and things because of how successful Logan was, and even with
but Rogue is not a bankable star.
No, if you're
going to do solo. You're going to do a Magneto solo movie.
If you're going to do solo movies, I don't think you're going to get true solos. You'll get Wolverine, maybe. You'll get Deadpool, but the rest of them are going to be team movies. So you're going to get X-Force, you're going to get Weapon X, you're going to get stuff like that. You're not going to get. I don't think we're going to get individual movies because, like, when you really break them down, they do have deep background stories, but they can be told so quickly that you don't need it. If anything, like I said, the best option would be that you have a tie-in show that goes with the X-Men movie where every episode is somebody's background and it's a 38-minute episode where that explains their story, right? Because Rogue, you don't want to tell the Danvers story yet. You want that to be Rogue is just Rogue, and then in the middle of an Avengers movie, or Captain Marvel's dying and she touches her. She goes, "Take my powers," and she touches her, and then she dies, and now Rogue has the powers.
See, I could see that. The only thing I see being wrong is there's a lot of characters, and yes, if you get the right director like James Gunn, you can. But I do want to say this: when it comes to even the character of Drax or something like that, yeah, I like the character, but he's just so sidelined that I feel like Marvel's even thinking about that as, I don't know, we need to have a lot of these guys have a solo and then come together, because I really feel like, and I hate to put it this way, I really feel like they're going to lead into doing the whole characters leading into a big X-Men movie because they're going to try to do the whole Avengers thing and make the X-Men movie itself.
That to me makes sense. It's the
right.
If you look at Guardians and what they are, okay, at the core level, even in the comics, and by the way, I've never read like massive runs of Guardians of the Galaxy. I've read like some of the original stuff and whatever. The characters don't have much depth. Their background stories are lame.
They just work good as a team.
Rocket has,
but the mutants do. They've always had great backstories, great storylines.
But they're not stories that require an entire movie to tell.
Yeah,
I could tell you Wolverine's, who's the most popular and probably the deepest backstory. I could tell you his whole backstory in like 5 minutes. So
yeah, but I get that. But you could do the same thing with Batman. You're still making a full of like that, and I understand because Batman's a bigger IP. But I'm saying
Batman is an entire X-Men on his own.
Okay, tell me, Putty. Tell me a single, like, do a Gambit movie. Who's the villain?
Well, Gambit. No, I agree with you on the Gambit.
I'm just okay. You're doing a Rogue movie. Who's the villain?
Yes. Okay, so the villain itself is just society. You got to remember.
Yeah, but then what? So every single one of the solo movies, the villain's going to be society.
It won't work. It won't work. You need a big bad.
Yeah, you can still have that with her, okay? You can,
but she doesn't have a big bad. They're all X-Men villains.
And we've already done the society thing in Civil War.
Well, that is true, but we're gonna have to plug that in with the mutant thing because mutant is going to be a major thing because know they're going to use mutants as a way to do the whole woke.
Want me to tell you what I'm starting to think is going to happen, and then I'll let you, Putty. You can tell us your story for whatever. We were just about to say something. But I think what's going to happen is the core Avengers team that we know, there's going to be a world-altering event that's going to create mutants, or it's going to have created mutants and we don't know about it yet. and all of the Avengers are going to get killed, and then the X-Men are going to replace. So from now on, we will no longer have Avengers movies. It's going to be X-Men is going to be the team, and it's going to be the next X-Men movie. So because Miss Marvel technically a mutant,
it's starting it. Yeah, maybe she could be the catalyst.
That's what I mean. So you're going to see a lot of these people are. It's just going to be the X-Men are going to be the new team that defends Earth. It's not going to be the Avengers anymore, I don't think.
But see, that right there is a prime example. You could get somebody around her age that actually just got her mutant powers, but then she touches, just like in the first X-Men movie, she touches the boy and she goes, "Oh my God, what have I done?" So
and that literally took 10 minutes.
Well, no, I get it. But now she's fleeing the scene, she's stealing, she's doing all this stuff that makes her bad and everything, and she doesn't know how to control it, and she doesn't even know mutants exist. They haven't even talked about that, you know? Yeah, you know what I mean? So again, yeah, I agree. Maybe if the movie didn't work, but the thing is, we still have that whole, because the problem I see is if you just shoehorn this one, because that's the reason why it works so well in the first X-Men movie, is because you're introducing a character that is the way to introduce you to the X-Men, but you feel for her because she has a flaw that we would all be scared.
And I'm not disagreeing with you. So I'm gonna say that in terms of,
like, I'm just wondering how would they introduce Rogue and do the Gambit storyline too?
Hey, same way they did it in the...
This is what's going to happen. You want me to tell you? We're at the school. Hey, look, one of the students is Rogue. Rogue has powers. Rogue is going to do something. Rogue, why are you here? Well, this happened. It's going to give you a flashback, and then the story's going to progress, and then somewhere down the line, they're gonna be stranded somewhere, and they're gonna talk, and she's gonna tell them more about her life, and you're gonna get 5 more minutes of the background. Then you're gonna find out that she knows Mystique, and you're like, how do you know Mystique? And there's gonna be another flashback. But okay, I'm just saying, so, hey, listen.
But so you literally just do one whole movie about X-Men with one character from the lot.
Rogue is not. Yeah, but you establish the X-Men, okay? You establish the core members, whoever it is, like I said, whichever team you want, okay? You establish the core members. Then the next movie is 2 new people come. So in that movie, during the X-Men's mission, you get the background story of those 2 new people.
Maybe it's Storm.
Yeah, maybe it's Storm and Rogue, or Iceman and Rogue, whatever. Either way, this is my point. And it's not to take away from them, because I do think there's great characters in X-Men. I think X-Men is one of the better comic books IPs, period. But the thing with it is, of all the people to pick, you personally always pick the most mundane characters. And it's not that there's Rogue. Rogue does have depth. I'll give you that. But the thing is, of all the people you're going to want to tell a story to sell and make money, Rogue is not going to be that person.
Well, here's the reason why I stop you and tell you this right now. Here's the reason why. The thing is, when they bring over the X-Men, it feels like they're saying, hey, listen, we want to embrace some of these other characters that didn't get the love, but we're big fans of the cartoons. So, for example, I think Jubilee's going to actually have her opportunity, because I feel like that 90s crowd.
And I hope she does, because I think, like I said, it could work very well.
If we look at the core audience, Storm works better on. We don't have Black Panther anymore. That chemistry story is not there. Logan, we have that story with him. That one, we don't need to tell anything. Everyone understands that. Then we have Jean Grey and Cyclops. Those 2 are well known, but those are the same thing with coming as filler. We've already had their major story with him dying.
They also have really shitty stories, except for the Phoenix Saga, obviously.
But then you have Gambit and Jean Grey. We have not had the relationship. That whole storyline between them being together was a huge part of our childhood. Hear me out.
Yeah, but that's only from the animated series.
I get that, but you have to understand that this movie, when MCU goes into this, the reason they're rebooting and doing or continuing the cartoon is because they know we're that generation that watch that cartoon. So we're the ones that's going to pay money. So of course we've seen Wolverine, we've seen Storm, we've seen storylines with both Jean Grey and Cyclops. We haven't gotten any depth except a young version of Rogue.
This is my thing. Is there a specific team that Gambit and Rogue were both part of that was a comic book storyline? Not X-Men. It can't be X-Men. Is there a side team where they went on a side mission?
Oh, well, yeah, there's Gambit and Rogue storylines that's actually made. Like, there's actually
But was it in the X-Men comics, or did they have their own run?
They had their own line. Go look it up.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Then, now we have a movie because it's about Gambit and Rogue.
Well, that's what kind of
you're not going to sell. People are not going to come just to watch a Rogue movie. Maybe Gambit, because Gambit's popularity is insane. Everyone loves Gambit. But Rogue is not a very popular character outside of
Rogue is the villain and Gambit's the one that's trying to stop her.
And that would maybe he turns her, because maybe she's working with Mystique, and this is how we also get introduced to Mystique. See, I'm not saying your characters can't work. I'm saying that it's just there's so much more that you can do that will draw more attention. Like Deadpool works, because of how they did it. Deadpool's
Yeah.
story is trash. Like, as a character, he doesn't have any depth. It was all told to us in like the first 5 minutes of the first movie, the story. And then in the second movie, the whole motivation is in the first 10 seconds of the movie. And I like both movies, okay? So we're not saying this to be like, oh, you're an idiot, okay? Don't take it that way.
I no one's gonna stop me from.
But I think the way they executed those movies made us like them because it was a comedy and it was different. But you can't do that with Rogue or Gambit.
No, I agree. I'm thinking about exactly how Kevin Feige might be thinking, because of course he's going to want to bring the big hitters in there. But again, just like he did with the MCU, he realized those smaller ones, the ones that people don't know about, like there's a lot of people didn't know who Iron Man was until literally the movie came out, and like all of us grew up with cartoons.
But Iron Man also has that solo, like he had Obadiah Stane, he had Whiplash. You know what I mean? He had the Mandarin is an Iron Man villain, right? And a Hulk villain. So he works in a solo movie. X-Men, other than Wolverine, there is no villain that goes after one particular X-Men. You know what I mean?
What if you did a movie or a show, okay, a Disney Plus show? Just hear me out. It's a very rough idea, because I just thought of it immediately. So you have the show based around Rogue and Mystique are doing bad things. Then you introduce 2 heroes or 3 heroes, let's say, but they're not working together. They're all trying to stop the same thing, but they're separate. So each episode is them trying to figure out who's doing it and like their storyline. And then somehow down the road in like episode 8, they meet together and they work together to stop them. And you have it be like Gambit and whoever, right? Like bigger name people, but also not main level X-Men people.
Yeah. By the way, something just popped in my head too, because I've been wondering how they were going to do this ever since I first heard mutants came into the MCU, and I'm gonna throw this out to you guys. I've been wondering. I want them to do the origin story Wolverine. If they were to do a solo movie, I would love for them to do that and have him actually face off against the Hulk. But then I said to myself, how are they going to do the Hulk thing? He's not really a bad guy unless he's chasing down Wolverine. But now I just thought of it. What if they actually did the origin story of Wolverine, but instead of it being the regular Hulk, it's the Red Hulk?
Yeah, okay.
It would give motive. It would give motive for him going after Wolverine because of what's his name, and then it would
like whoa,
and then it would also still give us that epic fight between Hulk and Wolverine. It just wouldn't be the regular Hulk; it'd be the Red Hulk. So then you would still look at Wolverine as the good guy in this scenario. You know what I mean? What do you guys think?
I would take that. Why not?
I just want to see Maestro.
Ready? I'm capping this off. So take my idea that I just said. There's Gambit is looking for somebody. It's Mystique and Rogue. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's trying to stop them. We get his storyline that leads up to it. We get their storylines, their backgrounds that shows how they got together.
They can
the other people looking for them. Too. The other people looking for them is a pair of people. It's Pyro and Iceman. Okay. This is what happens though. They get to the end where they're fighting the villains, and it starts to create a future plan where now there's a love triangle between Gambit, Iceman, and Rogue. So you have that, and then in the end, Pyro turns on them and helps Mystique win, and Pyro leaves with her, and that leads into like whatever
the Brotherhood,
Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and then
that's of course a good idea. Pay me.
And you already had Iceman's probably already at that point established with the X-Men because of Pyro and him, so they both would basically be coming out there as a
and you can have Gambit is like a bounty hunter. He's on his own, right? He's not part of the team that's trying to stop
money.
them.
Remember, he's always been about money. So
but that's how you bring him to the X-Men through this scenario where the X-Men sent Pyro and Iceman to go figure out what's happening.
Still make Rogue a bad guy that's a thief and everything. And
then you have the turn. You have the double turn. Rogue turns good and Pyro turns evil.
Oh, I love that, dude. That doesn't even have to be an X-Men movie. That could literally just.
And then you have the Fire and Ice storyline, and you have
Song of Fire and Ice.
That's insane, dude. I think we just made a movie for Kevin Feige right now. Kevin Feige, you need
to erase all of this. You're not getting my ideas.
It's technically because it's on video, it's copyrighted now.
Copyrighted. Okay, I don't have anything else. You guys have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Fantasy booking with characters we don't know.
Yeah, we just did it. We did it.
We'll do a part 2. Remember,
that's the whole point of this podcast. Anyways, thanks for watching and subscribe or whatever.